from 5th grade. Brees and Haley, thank you so much for being with us. You can come up to this microphone right here and lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. You girls did a great job.
Mrs. Housen, you ready? Go ahead, the roll call.
Mr. Brookhart.
Here.
Dr. Faulkner.
Here.
Mr. Garman.
Here.
Mr. Gregg.
Here.
Mr. Hoffman.
Here.
Mr. Reichard.
Here.
Mr. Reichard Jr.
Here.
Mr. Umbriak.
Here.
Dr. Green.
Okay, 1.3, minutes, September 4th, 2024, Committee of the Whole meeting. The board will take action to approve the meeting minutes from September 4th, 2024, Committee of the Whole meeting as presented. Need a motion?
Second. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is there anything that's been added to the agenda since the Committee of the Whole that we did not have an opportunity to see last week?
The only two things that would have been added, I think, Dr. Need, would have been the names of,
We have the names of the specific candidates that last time I said were not there.
Okay.
There is a Head Start flexible instruction plan that we did not discuss
Okay.
at Committee of the Whole. And there is a maintenance plan that 6.3 that I sent an email today that we would like some more time to review. So we're going to actually ask to not vote on that item.
Looks like there's two maintenance plans.
Yes, a 6.2 and a 6.3. We are asking for 6.3 to be pulled this evening.
6.2 on last week?
We did not discuss it publicly, no.
Okay.
That's something that was, how was that taken? Was that put out for bid, or how did that come about?
So, I don't know if you could speak about McClure. We had talked about that at Buildings and Grounds Committees previously, but how we're using McClure for their maintenance, for our maintenance agreement.
They take care of all our rooftop units, HVAC, things like that. It's basic PM. They're doing coil cleanings, greasing, servicing, and they're our on-call company.
Our solicitor here?
On
On the phone.
Okay.
Jennifer?
The company I consult with, we compete with these two companies, but we do not do any business with Danville. Am I able to speak further on this?
Yes.
Okay. What's the procedure for something to get on the agenda this week without being on the work session the prior week? And we have a company here in 6.2, planned maintenance, who last year replaced the one we have in 6.3. Now we have both of them. And what was the amount of 6.2 last year?
So 6.2 has almost been cut in half from where it was before. They are doing two different things, but when Siemens had that planned maintenance, it was higher than the 41,000.
6.2 was half.
Part of that is because the newer boiler, we're still talking the McClure contract?
Yes.
Okay. The newer equipment that is behind the auditorium was not included in the first contract because that was still under contract with Siemens at that point. That was a separate contract that has been added back in now to the McClure contract.
Okay, so we replaced the Siemens contract with the McClure contract, which I think was at 25 or 26,000. Check. We can look in the website and go back to the minutes from last year. I think it lapsed because we're beyond 1 year. And the contract we were replacing last year, now we're adding a second contract at nearly $90,000. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack the meeting, but I
You're
didn't know
fine.
this was coming. So,
This would have been before my time, so you're fine.
okay.
Had we stayed with Siemens, the bill this year would be $83,000.
Okay. About 80,000 before that. But we didn't have a contract with McClure before we added that. We were going away from Siemens previously, and now we're adding Siemens back. So now
No,
we're
no,
at
no.
$130,000.
The Siemens contract, right now we have 5 separate contracts that were never broken. Each school has a separate contract for the fire alarm monitoring system. That's 4 of the contracts. The 5th contract is for this building and the auditorium area for the sprinkler systems.
What was the duration of the contract?
What's that?
What was the duration of each contract?
3 years.
Okay.
All right. Currently, the sprinkler one is expired. They did come in and do the semi-annual inspection on a good faith thing. To let these contracts expire could put us in some kind of goofy situations.
Neither one of these is on last week's agenda.
They were not. My
We
apologies.
don't know the amount of McClure's contract from last year.
So the McClure replaced a Siemens contract that was
For the
larger
PM.
for, yes, for
remember.
planned
I remember.
maintenance.
Yes, this Siemens contract is only for fire safety systems that were installed over the past few years.
McClure contract ever put out the bid or quote? You ever quote what McClure does here at any point?
Professional service, no, it wasn't put out for bid. This was under Mike Sokolowski.
You were here.
I was here, yes. I'm the one that brought him in, and we got the 80-some thousand from McClure, and then we got the original 30-some thousand, I believe. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, all right, I'm good, thank you. I don't want to take too long with this. I didn't mean to even bring it up, but it surprised me when I saw it.
So we had a motion and a second for the minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Brookhart.
No.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garman.
Yes.
Mr. Gregg.
No.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Reichert. No. Mr. Reichert Jr.
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Okay, so 1.4 then. Board will take action to approve the meeting minutes from the September 11th, 2024 board meeting as presented.
Motion.
Does it make a difference if I was,
These minutes are actually for September.
right, I wasn't here on the 11th.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking Jennifer.
Even it's the September 4th Committee of the Whole. I usually do them,
Yeah.
so it wasn't the Committee of the Whole
Does it
from
make a
last
difference
week.
if I'm not here or not? I guess that's what I'm asking Jennifer. Like, should I abstain
Jennifer,
if I
does it
wasn't
matter
here?
that Sam wasn't here for
Last board
the meeting if he votes on the minutes?
He can vote yes, he can also abstain, it's his call.
Okay.
It's your call.
That's one of you.
We got a motion in a second, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dr. Faulkner.
Abstain.
Mr. Garman.
Yes.
Mr. Gregg.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Reichert.
Yes.
Mr. Reichert Jr.
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner abstained. Okay. Just kept on going.
Okay, 2.1, board recognition. Fire Club is here with us tonight. I would like to say that I have been to a couple of their exercises. I think this is a wonderful idea, and that they do a fantastic job. I know Mr. Franz and Commissioner Finn is here with us tonight, along with, I believe, a few of the members of the club. So you guys can take it away and explain what you guys do, because like I said, I've been here for a couple of them. I think it's a great thing. Go ahead, floor is yours. Sure, yep.
We have a handheld mic as well if you like to stand and deliver that way. I don't know if we have that back there.
Okay, so we'll try to be real quick. 5-10 minutes, right? Okay.
You're good.
So thanks for allowing us to come here and talk. I'm Eric Franz, one of the advisors. Lily Torres, our vice president. Mr. Frank, faculty advisor. So we threw together a quick PowerPoint here for everybody. You can go to the next slide. This is just a quick list of what we've done in the past school year. You can see we had 11 events. We try to keep everything fun and exciting. Lots of planning goes into all these events. Lily, what was your favorite out of all of them?
I would say the smoke maze. It's a lot of fun. It gets you thinking, and you get to try, like, a lot of kids get to try it and put on all the gear, which is something we don't get to do all the time, and go on air.
Yeah, smoke maze we had WNEP here for. Nikki Kreis went through full turnout gear, air pack, crawling through the smoke. It was a lot of fun. You can go to the next slide. This was just a couple weeks ago. We were here at 4 a.m., did the morning show again. She reached out to us and wanted to check in and see what the fire club was up to. So next slide. You can scroll through a couple of these slides here. Just different shots. So this is Deegan, one of our club members. You know, this I think was a great slide because would he normally be a person that would stand up in front of someone and talk? In this situation, you know, he's being put in that situation. He did a great job. Yep. Yep, you can go next. Nice shot of the club here. So we did this from 4 till, what, 7? 6:30, 7 o'clock. Kids went to the classroom. Next slide. And then we went right to a podcast. So we have a resident here in town, has a company who does a lot of really, really cool things, one of which is podcasts. Next slide. So he featured us on there, and the subject was basically volunteer recruitment. So pictured here are the members that took part, and then the gentleman in the center is the fire chief from the city of Hazleton, Donald Leschko. He drove here from Hazleton to play part of it. He also then invited our club members to Hazleton. We're hoping to go there towards the end of the month for a tour of their facility. They're a career department, so they are paid. And they also have a training facility there that they plan to run the kids through a couple scenarios. Next slide. So this is the podcast. You can scan that. If anybody needs a link or anything, I can get it to you. Mark's company, Mindset, runs out of the Railroad Drive office. Next slide. So Mark Burke also, the way we got in touch with Mark Burke was he had a shed that he posted on social media for free, actually. We hopped on it. We ended up getting the shed relocated here to the school. It's right by the field house there. Mosdale Towing and Recovery, another business, always willing to help. They pitched in earlier in the year with donating cars that we cut apart out here in the traffic circle. They went and picked up the shed, no charge, brought it here to the school and dropped it off. And we've since, lettered it up, added our flair to it. In the lower right there, Nick Johnston from Carriage Manor Builders. This shed went through the hailstorm, so Nick pitched in and donated shingles. We have another gentleman from Turbot Township, a contractor who's going to come in and walk us through how to reshingle a roof. Next slide. So these are just some of the marketing pieces we put together to try to promote our events, make it flashy and fun. Next slide. A couple pictures here. You can scan through these. These are just different shots we had. Well, I don't know if you want to explain any of those.
This is when we first started it. We got some people in gear, and we started meeting some actual career firefighters. I think lower left. So he's a career firefighter. He taught, and then up there too, also on the top right, he's a career firefighter. They told us about what their work life looks like, put us all in gear, and then right in the middle, we're putting together a hose line out of a hydrant, seeing all the trucks, just getting kids involved. That was our main thing. Oh. So Fire Club was invited to go help out with the Montreux DeLong Fair. And at the Montreux DeLong Fair, Washingtonville Station runs it's like a food stand. So we helped out. And on that day, it was Go Joe Go was coming. And we got a picture with him. He was pretty awesome to meet. He got a picture with our fire club. And we spread the word around about our fire club at the fair too. Here's another one of our trainings we did. We got to go on hose lines, which if you're volunteering, you don't get to do that, so it's quite a nice treat to do. We can see that they're teaching us how to hook it up to the hydrant, how it gets set up through the hydrant to the truck, and then on that hose line. And then up top on the left, we get our, where's that? Is that a Geisinger?
Yeah, we did.
Wasn't that our first event? Yeah, it was one of our first events.
So one tie-in here quick was the ag department has donated a lot of class time to us to be able to get in front of the students, which we're very grateful for. They also then took their own kind of step in a different direction and brought in DCNR to do wildland firefighting. So the students last year took the S190, and I believe this year they're going to take S130. And at that point then, they can take a test to be on the state forestry crew, which goes out west and fights wildfires. Next slide. Just more photos. We had the fire commissioner's office in the classroom. Up in the upper right there, Linda Culver, our senator, Representative Mike Stender was involved too and has been great supporters of our club. Next slide. Some more photos, our cars. We've done a lot of stuff. And right there in the center, we put out a post asking for donations. And Trevorton Fire Company down in below Sunbury reached out and said, hey, we have some equipment we can donate to your club. So took a couple students, hopped in my truck, and went down there, and it was a great experience. Next slide. We went to the Fire Expo. So every year in Pennsylvania, there's a big Fire Expo in Harrisburg. We took a van down, a bunch of students, had a great time walking around. There's career departments down there, as well as vendors with apparatus and equipment. And it was really cool watching the students walk past the career departments that were there trying to recruit. They were like vultures on Lily and, hey, we want you to come work for us. So next slide. State Fire Commissioner Tom Cook in the center there. Trevor Finn is here as well. Trevor is also a volunteer locally and of course, one of our county commissioners. Next slide. So this has happened back in June, I believe, Dr. Need. We got together in the library here at the high school, over at the high school. Had a various different folks at that meeting. What we're trying to discuss was how do we get the curriculum into the classroom. If Lily wants to be a firefighter here locally in Danville, she has to take 200 hours of classroom. It's tough to do that when you're taking school. You're at school, you have sports, band, homework, and jobs. So our hope is to eventually get the curriculum into the school so Lily can take the class during third period and at the end of the year, have some state certifications. So we had folks from Bucks County Community College, the State Fire Commissioner's Office. We had some other schools, school representatives present that already have programs. It was just a great, great meeting. Next slide. So this is, I just saw this yesterday. Colonial Park. Has anybody ever been to the Colonial Park Mall down in Harrisburg? Right, very densely populated area. They are struggling right now. They have all volunteer, and they actually run in periods of time where there's just no one to respond to alarms, where they actually take a truck to their borough building and allow the borough crew to respond on fire calls. There's just not enough people. So, next slide. This is Montour County versus Dauphin County, which I think is pretty alarming. You can see we are the 67th largest county in Pennsylvania. For those of you that know, there's 67 counties in Pennsylvania. 18,000 residents, population density of 139 per square mile versus Dauphin County. So a lot more folks in Dauphin County, right? So we have the exact same struggles here. Yesterday, there was a structure fire in Shamokin. I'm a lieutenant at Mahoning Township. We got called to Shamokin, went to the firehouse, left my job, went to the firehouse, hopped in the truck, pulled it out, and 2 other people showed up. And we had to scratch the call. We just could not respond. We didn't have enough people. So that's what this is all about, the Fire Club. It's about getting in front of people like Lily, engaging them, and trying to get them interested in the volunteer fire service. Next slide. This is another quick one, and I trust me, this is, I think, the second last slide. This was a fire down on Mahoning Street, February 3rd, right behind the middle school, a couple doors down from Mrs. Kika's house. We rolled into this fire. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, fire blowing out the attic, and we asked someone to get off the truck and go tag the hydrant, which is hooking the hose up to the hydrant. That person was a Fire Club member. So pretty cool. He was instrumental in making sure the connection was made. We radioed to him to start the water. Trevor, you were there. Jack Gibson, he graduated, but he did a heck of a job. And very grateful for him being a volunteer. Next slide. So that's it. We do have a handout here, which we give to a lot of different people. I don't know that there's one for everyone here, but we're looking for, what's that? We hand this out to just about everybody, and I'm talking about companies like Carnhart, MSA. We're looking to try to really get the word out, not just to help our immediate area, but also all the other companies and counties across the state. So, appreciate that. Mr. Frank, did you have anything to add?
I think you covered it all, but yeah, since the start of the year, we started the year with 11 members, and we've had 9 new people join in the first however many weeks we are into the school year. 7 of which are 9th graders, and then 2 10th graders. So it's good kind of getting them in the door early into their high school, and just the feedback from the school as a whole, like taking all the classes through the smoke maze and doing all that. I haven't heard a complaint yet. Sometimes it hurts my feelings. They say, yeah, that was a lot better than your class. But it's a good kind of thing. But no, it's just great seeing the involvement in the earlier grades and getting the club rolling.
I think it'd be great to have these classes in school, because not a lot of us, I'll say, a lot of these kids in this group aren't the biggest fans of school, I would say. So it'd be great to know that when we get out of high school, it's not like go to college or we're not going to be successful. We have the training, so we have options to go to. We can go into wildland firefighting with our training, or if we get the classes in the high school, we could go to a firehouse and we're set for a job.
Yeah, we had six volunteers at the beginning of last school year. 6 students in the high school that volunteered with a firehouse. Not nearly enough involved in order to sustain fire protection for our community. So it's such a unique topic because it could touch any one of our lives in this room. It may have already touched your life at some point. So a lot of our folks in our community don't realize how fire protection works in our area. They don't realize it's volunteer. So appreciate everybody helping to get the word out about volunteer firefighting. Like Mr. Frank said, our numbers are growing. Our goal is to try to get 40 students of the 660 some, Mr. Gump, right? In the high school, 40 students affiliated with a firehouse. So we educate them on firefighting in the club, but our goal is to get them to join a firehouse where they can then volunteer and start, become a member and start volunteering. So. Yeah. So good question. So there's 9 firehouses that cover the footprint of the Danville School District. There's 4 in the borough of Danville, and then there's 5 outlying: Mahoning Township, Liberty Township, Valley Township, Riverside, and Washingtonville. So we are for everyone. We look to engage the students. If they show interest, we ask them where they live. Most of the time they just say Danville. Okay, we got that. But find out where the closest firehouse is. Trevor Finn is with Washies Fire Company. We had a young man come to us and say, I want to be a career firefighter. So, actually 2 of them, yeah. So they fill out an application, join the firehouse, and then we'll have a meeting coming up probably in the next week or 2 where we'll all get together at that firehouse, do a tour, and make the introductions, make them feel comfortable, and then they'll start training. All these firehouses train usually once a week, typically on a Tuesday evening. And it is really remarkable, the level of training that these first responders have in our area. Last night they were up at Montour Preserve with boats on the water, in the water. We had other groups elsewhere. I mean, it's such a great network. This document here, if you get a chance, the bullet points on there are the key. There's so much more than putting hose on or water on fire. There's a camaraderie, mentorship, the people you meet. Lily here is buds with Linda Culver and Mike Stender, and the people that you meet, it's fantastic. We really enjoy it.
I just wanted to say I am so impressed. I did not understand the depth and the amount of stuff that's going on with this. I don't have a lot of exposure with this growing up. My father-in-law is a volunteer firefighter in Hughesville, so by marriage now I've been more exposed to it. And he told me about this before I even knew about it because I think the word is kind of getting out, and it's so much more than what I even thought. Right, this is so much more than a fire club. This is opportunities for students who you even said may or may not have as clear a pathway in school. It's even if it's not that, opportunities for careers in different spaces beyond even fire fighting. It was really fascinating. I had no idea that it was this amount of depth.
Yeah,
it's
so
really, really, really cool.
We, our Mike Stender is a career firefighter from City of Harrisburg. Left that job to take the state local representative job, and he called me the other day and said, "Eric, you really need to understand, this is really hitting it big in Harrisburg."
Yeah.
I've been getting calls from departments out of state, all over the state, asking what we can do. The Pennsylvania Association of Firefighters just had their state conference down in Limerick, Pennsylvania. I was there to speak on behalf of the fire club.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The only question I really had was, you mentioned a little bit about sort of spreading the word, but how else can we help as a board, as a district?
So I think a big part is, Lily can become a member. She can come to our trainings, but in order for her to grab a hose line and take it into the front door of a working house fire, she has to have a state certification.
Right.
200 hours worth. The one gentleman at the meeting, Keith Ganeski, is superintendent of Wallen Paul Pack School District. He's also the president of the fire company up there. His program, he's putting out 11th graders with the National EMT Registry Certificate. 12th grade, firefighter 1. So that certification.
So it's being done in other.
These students can leave 11th grade, go over to Geisinger, and start running on the medic truck. 12th grade, they can leave and go down to City of Harrisburg, Reading, Williamsport. Lewisburg has a career department. Right. They're immediately employable. So, but, our hope is that Lily, graduates someday, gets a job somewhere, but stays in Mahoning Township and volunteers with us. But yeah, that's really it. We need people to start the conversations and working towards getting the curriculum into the school. That, to me, is without a doubt the biggest piece. Otherwise, what's going to happen is, more calls will start getting scratched, the truck won't roll, and eventually, Mr. Finn is going to be tasked with a county fire department. We're the 67th largest, so it will be probably a combined department with Columbia County or another county. At that point, taxes go up, response times also increase, and property and life loss will increase. So the magnitude of what that would have on taxes, I don't know, Trevor, if you have any of that off the hip ready, but it's tremendous what it costs to run a career department.
And then where we would go to get this training if we don't have that in the school is, I remember taking my Mod 1, which is one of your trainings you have to do. It was all the way in Elysburg, and I was in the middle of doing sports. So I would finish school, I'd go to practice, I'd go home, eat for about 10 minutes, and then run down the firehouse. And I'd get in somebody's car and go to Elysburg, take my class, and come home at and I'd get home around 10, sometimes even 11, because we had to put our gear away, clean it up. And then I'd do it again. And I'd do it again and again and again until I finished it. And I didn't even finish. I could go all the way to my Mod 3, but I didn't. I had to drop out due to sports. And it was a lot with school, sports, and everything. But it would be amazing if I could just get it done here, and then I could do my sports freely.
Do we have a sense, you guys, and you can weigh in on this too, of what the biggest barriers are of it being a part of curriculum, like you're describing?
What's it take to get it involved? I mean, what for steps?
So Bucks, most of the certifications are run through, and there's an acronym for it that I'm not familiar with, but like Bucks County Community College, they have courses. They're actually running one through the Tri-Valley School District down in Higgins, Pennsylvania. So it's an online course, and then there's also practical where an instructor has to come in. So the cost to do that is somewhere in the ballpark of $1,500 to $1,600. So we're not talking, crazy money.
For the class, for the whole class, you're saying?
For the whole they call it an academy, I think, right, Trevor?
Oh, okay.
It's 4 modules. There's a lot of equipment that's needed, though. At some point you need to have apparatus. So the local firehouses would have to support that. Between 9 companies, if we had to split $1,600, I'd probably write a check tomorrow from my company just to pay for that. It's just a matter of getting it into the classroom, really, finding out how to do that. And I think at that point, we would probably have students from other districts wanting to come and take part in it, really.
So the online coursework is probably the easier part, quite frankly, to schedule out in order to get students into those courses and be able to take those classroom setting materials. The challenging part of getting an for the in-person part, that's probably honestly the greatest challenge that we would face, depending upon number of students. So it's almost like cooperatively would be highly beneficial. And I don't know if Wallenpaupack, you use that as an example. I think they offer it kind of regionally to students from neighboring schools as well that can attend.
That's what they shared this summer in our meeting.
Yeah. We have had instructors come to us as well saying, I'm an instructor, how can I help? So, I think we could get creative and come up with a way. It's the community figuring out how to get it done, really. You could leave here and, God forbid, somebody could T-bone you. Anything can happen, and we need to come up with a way to sustain it for the future. So, again, grateful for the time. I know it went much longer than 5 to 10 minutes. Sorry, I can ramble, but we're obviously pretty passionate about this. So appreciate everybody's support with this. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. We're certainly really appreciative of you all being with us this evening. Thank you. I think that takes us to 2-2 reports.
Yep, so move on to
Mr. Reichert.
2-2 reports. Tyler, have anything, Tyler and Adam, anything from VOTEC?
Meetings next week.
Okay. Sam, anything from CSIU?
I was not at the, wasn't able to attend the last meeting, but I will be there next week.
Offhand.
Is it?
Yeah, there isn't
Nothing?
anything.
Okay. Ed Start. Anything for CS Trust?
Meeting October 21st.
That'll take us on to the superintendent's report.
If we go just a couple slides ahead, I am happy to have Simon Morris with us this evening. He is our senior class vice president. So Simon, thank you for being with us. If you take a look at our enrollment numbers, you'll see where we ended last year and where we've started this school year and where we are here in October of 24. There are not any grade levels with any significant increases or decreases. That will show you primary school and Valley, and then you will go on to see the middle school, the high school, and where we're at with VOTEC moving from September to October. On our next screen, Mr. Ryan, you'll then see our non-pub enrollment, looking at where we ended last year and where we've transitioned at the start of this school year as well. You move to the next slide. Just one item that we wanted to share this evening that came after our committee of the whole, and I did send this report on to board members, but just wanted to publicly recognize, especially our high school faculty. If you move to the next screen, you'll see that Danville Area High School for the class of 2024 was recognized by the AP School Honor Roll with a bronze medal. We're certainly just would like to congratulate all of our seniors from last year, all of our teachers throughout the high school for making this happen. And if you take a look, you'll see that we're actually extremely close to reaching that silver status or beyond. And right now, I believe it's only 20 public high schools in the state are at silver or beyond. So really reaching an elite status with AP. I think it's important to note the 3 areas in which a high school can be recognized, because we're certainly proud to be doing all of those things. So you'll see where it says optimization that we've reached the platinum level, which is the highest level you can get. And that's the % of our graduating class who participated in 5 or more AP classes, or yes, courses. So we had 18% of our seniors from last year participate in 5 or more AP courses throughout their high school career. Then in credit, we reached that gold level, and that is the % of the graduating class who earns a 3 or higher. So it's essentially allowing them to potentially earn that college credit, which certainly can be helpful for college acceptances, but also then cost of college if you have some credits done. One thing that we've been spending a lot of time talking about is just creating opportunity for students. And we know that taking an AP course in high school is the closest that we can offer for what a college course will feel like, because we've got this normed test and course that students can take. So we're excited to continue to expand the number of students who take at least one AP course in their high school career. We shared a number of 38% with you earlier. That would be our eligible students in 10th through 12th grade. When we're just looking at our 12th graders, we had over the time that until they graduated that 48% of them took at least one AP course before graduation, which puts us in the bronze category, and as you can see, very close to that silver criteria. So we will continue to encourage students to give that a try while they're at Danville High School. So congratulations to our high school administration, our high school faculty, our high school students. Everyone should certainly be really proud of this honor. And I will turn it over to Mr. Gump, who can get us started on our administrator board reports this evening.
Yeah, sure.
Or sorry, Dr. Gump, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Need. So as AP opens the door for many kids for opportunities beyond high school, in my board report this month, I also wanted to share that we have opened our fall enrollment for the dual enrollment for Lackawanna College. So that process has begun. So essentially, through taking high school courses here at Danville, students can go ahead and purchase for $100 for one credit for some courses through Lackawanna College, which transfers over to college credit for students who are interested in doing that. So that has begun. That affects our fall psychology classes, but then in February, the window opens for a lot of other classes, on-level classes, honors classes, and other AP classes as well. So we're excited that that's rolling out this year. And just some important dates ahead for October. We have an in-school PSAT coming up. We have an in-school SAT for our students. And the big one is the end of the first marking period is on the 29th of October. Simon?
Thank you. First off, I would like to mention last Friday we had our homecoming carnival, and every year I think it's been great, but especially this year, freshmen sold popcorn or buffalo chicken dip. Sophomores did popcorn and other baked goods. The juniors sold drinks, but the seniors did dunk tank, and they sold mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is always bestseller.
Always popular.
sells out.
So did you get dunked, Simon?
I did not get dunked, unfortunately. The setup was pretty straightforward. We had the couple hours before the carnival was set up, and the cleanup also went pretty well, I'd say. Upcoming, we have our first academic pep rally of the year, which last year I thought was very good. It was great to recognize students taking AP courses with perfect attendance, and also to recognize our sports teams of that season. We also have students versus staff games, and for every sport we pretty much really have. It's always great to see all the teachers and staff coming out to help support our teams. I'd also like to mention our fundraisers that we're doing now. Right now we're starting the Charleston Wrap, which is festive wrappings for gifts. And we're using that money to help for prom, senior trip. Also in November we're having another thankful week where as SGA members we like to recognize the bus drivers, the staff at the school, and just all the students. I remember last year we did a morning where we did coffee and cookies for the bus drivers, as well as paper plate awards for the teachers. I know that went pretty well.
They did.
I enjoyed that a lot.
I think they did, yes.
Thank you.
I'll just reiterate what Simon had brought up about the students versus staff. I think this is the third year now that we've done this. It's very low-key events. We participated against the field hockey team about a week and a half ago. We participated against or competed against the football team in a punt pass kick competition, and then we went up against the tennis team last night. Tomorrow we'll be doing cross country. So if any of you would like to participate, it'll be a mile and a half on the top end of the course. So it's a great time for students to be able to do something, or staff to get involved with students outside the classroom. So like I said, if you'd like to participate, feel free to just show up. Thanks.
Thank you. Dr. Snover.
Good evening, everyone. Just very quickly, we are, as far as data, academic side of school, we just finished up our second day of CDT testing today. Yesterday was our ELA, today was our math tests. So we should very quickly be able to start compiling and analyzing the CDT data, and combined with the MAPS data, which I included in the board report, we'll be able to paint a much more accurate picture of where students are at academically, what type of instructional interventions need to be put in place, and of course, you know, what we need to be doing to meet not only individual students but groups of students as well. So we will be dedicating professional development time both after school and in later October to dissecting our CDT data. I would also like to very quickly highlight, we finished up a Spirit Week last week. I know the high school also participated in this. To benefit Think Big, for those of you that don't know, Think Big is an organization that it's designed to help families that are struggling as, you know, a child battles pediatric cancer. So the middle school alone was able to raise $1,000 through the Spirit Week donations and walkathon that we did to go to that very worthwhile organization. So I am very proud of our students for taking on that cause and doing something to help those in need.
Thank you, Dr. Snover. Dr. Reinert.
Thank you. I'm going to pivot a little bit from what I was going to talk about. The Fire Club kind of inspired me sitting here. Just at Liberty Valley, we work really hard. The teachers work hard, students work hard in the classroom. But this is the first time at the intermediate school that students actually get to experience clubs. So we've had a couple clubs that have already been started, but this year and especially this month, we've really been focusing on student choice and allowing our students to feel like they have a place where they belong no matter their interests. So we've been working behind the scenes to get our 5th grade leadership club up and running again this year. We have a lot of really great ideas. Last year was like in the middle of the year, our first year to do it. So we have Mrs. Lori Coombe and Mrs. Renee Barnes, who are working behind the scenes. We're starting actually on Friday. But we have a 3rd grade art club that we have never had in the past. We also started a STEM club. And like I said, student choice is really big for us at Liberty Valley because it is the first time that, like I said, students are able to have options and go to clubs and experience that and have interest in school. So just working really hard on making sure that we listen to our kiddos and say, you know, what do you want? What do you want to try? We have a student right now that's really interested in drama clubs, so we're working behind the scenes to try to figure out how to get a drama club started at Liberty Valley. So just, you know, like I said, the Fire Club inspired me to kind of talk about the things that we're doing for our students and choices and just make sure that they feel like they belong behind the scenes. A quick plug, tomorrow night is family night at Liberty Valley. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have our Scholastic Book Fair is going to be open for parents to come and shop. And we also are going to have time for our students to play on the playground. We bought some glow-in-the-dark basketballs. So just an opportunity for the kiddos to have some supervision to play in the dark, which is kind of fun. So if anybody out there wants to come to family night, come to Valley, and we're going to have some good food and some fun for the kids.
Thank you. That was an awesome night last year, and I think glow-in-the-dark balls will only add to the fun. Mrs. Earp.
One thing that we're excited to share with you that's happening at the primary school, we kind of lost touch with our reading incentive program right around COVID. So we're bringing back a reading incentive program that's community-based, really with the great intention of encouraging reading at home together. Of course, there's an abundance of research that supports reading together, establishes that strong foundational love of learning, literacy skills, and really sets young kids up for future success. So again, like putting down the phones, putting down the iPads, putting down the video games, and just taking some good quality time together to just read a book together. So we've set monthly goals for each grade level, just remaining sensitive that families are busy throughout the week. We've provided additional supports utilizing the Bloomsburg University Practicum students to be reading buddies with our students. And of course, our classroom teachers will also be reading in addition to help students log minutes. Each month, there's a mystery incentive when a student meets their goal. And we've had a bunch of support from the community that partnered with us to sponsor each month. I just have to share that Sergio at Amigos argued with me in a good way that he does not want to just give students a free slice of pizza. He wants to give them free lunch. So I said there's a decent amount of students who will probably be visiting you. So it was a good argument. But we really, are just working to get that love of learning and reading together at home established again with our young learners. And it actually has brought a lot of joy just hearing the kids talking in the hallway about their reading and coming up to me and just letting me know that they read last night and shared about the story that they're reading. So all good intentions, just making it fun.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Mrs. Marshall.
So at Head Start, being a comprehensive preschool program, we not only educate the children, but also the families. So this year we decided to come up with a parent cafe meeting. So once a month, the second Friday of the month, the parents come in and have a training, collaborate with each other, learn from each other. And so we designed the whole year out. We are having first aid, CPR, healthy cooking, bedtime routines, potty training. So every month, just really having some time together with the families. Did the parent cafe, serving some coffee and some snacks, and just some really time to be with our families and help them grow also, along with their children.
Thank you. And Ms. Wenrick in special education.
So part of my title is intervention and special education. So a big thing that we started to work on is interventions at the middle school level. So we've been spending a lot of time, as Dr. Snover had said, looking at data and starting to figure out how we're going to get those interventions into the classrooms and providing academic support for kids that they need it. And we have finally solidified those groups after looking at a lot of numbers and working on schedules. So that's up and running. And another side of things are community-based trips are up and running for the special education department. So far, the kids, they started their first trips really with going to the Bloomsburg Fair. And we are swimming every Fridays down at DAC. And they rotate through the different life skills and autistic support programs. And we will officially be full staffed on Monday. Nicole starts on Monday. So we're excited about that.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. Ryan.
Just real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to Rich Wilson and his work with the co-ops at the high school. We've had a lot of success. We're having co-ops work with us. A lot of kids that decided that they wanted to get into technology by having a co-op with us, and then a lot of kids that decided not to have go on in technology. So we have two young gentlemen that are with us this year, and just wanted to reach out to Rich Wilson and thank him for working with those two kids, and that's all I got.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ryan, and thank you, Mr. Reichert.
Next is public comment, max of 3 minutes for agenda items only. Moving on then to item number 6, school property and supplies.
Mr. Reichert with us already asking for 6.3 to be removed. I'm certainly open to the board's feelings, but I think that I'd recommend we didn't have those prepared to discuss last week, that we look into both of those further and bring them to committee of the whole in November, and then have them have that proposal ready for a November vote, which would just take no items for school property and supplies if people felt okay with that decision.
Yeah, is this a 3-year contract again? Is that what he said with McClure?
The McClure one, I believe, is 1. Let me pull it up. And the Siemens was 3, but we pulled
Okay,
that.
I wanted to make sure. Okay.
You're saying table 6-2 and
I would say
6-3?
table 6-2 and 6-3 will bring them to committee of the whole and then to voting.
Are there implications? I mean, I don't know if, are there any implications to tabling 6-2 and 6-3 that you foresee? Any problems or not voting on them tonight?
Are there any implications if we don't make a decision tonight on voting on them if we hold them off till the next committee of the whole?
My biggest question is, when do the contract?
I think for a responsible decision, we didn't have them in time for a committee of the whole this time. We'll do that. They have provided some service out of contract for us before. We'll certainly let them know that we're bringing information to the board and, hope to move, we're not cutting them off. We're just on pause, if you will.
When do the contracts run?
Will the companies continue to serve what they need to serve? Or was
The thing with Siemens is right now.
Okay.
It's not, that can hold them off right now. To expire.
Contract that was approved in June of '23, right?
Yes.
1 year.
Yes.
It's already expired then. Well, that's fine. Won't they?
We'll honor it for another month. Yes.
Will they honor it until November?
Yes. I don't see a
'Cause I don't have
problem.
an issue with them either. This is a process issue. It's not the companies.
Yeah.
If they'll honor it for another month, then we're fine and we bring it back in November.
Yes.
Is that the consensus then of everybody? Hold off till?
Man, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Garmin,
Yes.
Mr. Gregg,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Reichard,
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak,
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart,
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner,
Yes.
Mr. Reichard Jr.
Yes. That will take us to number 7 then, athletics and activities. 7.1, athletics activities consent items. The board will take action to approve athletics activities items 7.2, 7.3, and 7.4. Take a minute, look over them. If anybody would like to have anything removed, please let me know. If everybody is okay with those items, can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Mr. Gregg,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Reichard,
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak,
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart,
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner,
Yes.
Mr. Garmin,
Yes.
Mr. Reichard Jr.
Yes. Number 8, academic affairs, 8.1, 2024-2025 Danville Head Start Pre-K Flexible Instruction Plan. Board will take action to approve the Danville Head Start Pre-K Flexible Instruction Plan for the 2024-2025 school year as presented.
Second.
Who's second?
Tyler.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Reichard,
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak,
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart,
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner,
Yes.
Mr. Garmin,
Yes.
Mr. Gregg,
Yes.
Mr. Reichard Jr.
Yes.
Okay, the next item for vote is 10.4.
Yeah, so
The
they're
others
usually
are
all lumped
just for
together, right.
like review, but 10.4
Okay,
is
so
the
under
next motion.
finance, we'll go to 10.4 bills for payment. The board will take action to approve the bills for payment for September 6, 2024 through October 3rd, 2024 as presented.
Second.
Mr. Reichard. Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart. Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Mr. Gregg.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Reichard Jr.
Abstain. .1 personnel consent items. Board will take action to approve personnel consent items 11.2 through 11.12. Board members have the option to remove any item or items from the personnel consent items for discussion and or to be voted on individually. If anybody would like to have anything removed at this time, please let me know.
I have a question on one of them. It doesn't have to be removed, I don't believe. Number 11.5, what certification area was she taking in?
Reading specialist.
Can we get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Who motion was first? Mr. Umbriak.
Before we vote, I'd like to say to Mr. Brookhart, thank you for recommending 11.12.
I don't remember.
And I know one of the people involved in that's here tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
And to the rest of the people that were involved in that who may be listening and who are not here for
Okay.
stepping up and filling that void that we had
Yeah.
and taking on the extra duties. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, yeah.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Mr. Gregg.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Reichard. Mr. Reichard Jr.
Yes. This is 13. Transportation, 13.1 bus driver list. The board will take action upon the recommendation of the superintendent to approve the bus driver list for the 24-25 school year as presented, pending the receipt of all required clearances and documentation.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Brookhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Mr. Gregg.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Reichard. Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Reichard Jr.
Abstain. 13.2, parent transport agreement. The board will take action to approve a parent transport agreement to transport a student to New Story, Berwick for the 2024-2025 school year.
Motion. Second.
I don't know that I know that offhand. This is an agreement we also entered into last year for this particular student. Oh, this agreement is just for the transportation, not the New Story tuition. Yes. Sometimes there's particular reasons that that's in the best interest. Yep.
Ready? Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Mr. Gregg.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Reichard. Mr. Umbriak. Mr. Brookhart.
Yes.
Mr. Reichard Jr.
Yes. 14.1, board concerns and items for next meeting agenda.
One thing I want to bring up. I got something from someone in the community. We approved the junior high girls softball tonight.
Yes.
moving. At some point a few months ago, we got it into, we didn't really get into a discussion, but we had somebody from the public talk about girls and boys competing together athletically. And I don't know all the details to this, but are girls junior high wrestlers? Do we have girls wrestling in junior high, that if we broke that out and made it a separate sport, they wouldn't have to wrestle against the boys? But right now they
Just an
do
all
because they're
girls
not
wrestling team.
recognized. Is that the case? How do we do that?
I do believe it's actually separated out somehow, but will have to get back to the board with the official information on that. I only know that anecdotally.
That is not.
Okay.
Okay. So that means because they are not, and there's probably not much of an expense to that, it's just recognizing it as a sport.
Sure.
So that they can compete in girls' tournaments. Kelly, I think you knew a little bit about this. You can tell by your reaction.
Okay. Okay.
Probably wouldn't be much.
Yeah, that seems very
Yeah,
doable.
that's-
Yes.
that's a-
We'll
yeah.
bring information next month, but I can't imagine that we can't make something like that happen quite easily.
Jason, what's the progress that's been made on the gym floor coverings?
So we have looked at a couple of different options. We have a couple of different prices that are, range from anywhere from $50,000 to $8,000 essentially for an entire system. We're going to be ordering some samples of some different coverings in the near future so that we can make sure that when we put them down, they're not a tripping hazard, they're not bunching up. The key is it becomes very expensive the thicker it gets.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, if you go too thin, you run the risk of it being one of those tripping hazards. So we're going to cautiously order some samples to put down and test out with not only walking on them, but we'll try to arrange somebody to dance on them and somebody to stomp some heels on them.
High heels on them.
So I would think by November we'll have I would think by November's committee of the whole we'll have a thorough update.
And I think with the staffing scenario, it should definitely be in consideration, which is easiest to, at least in the mid, because obviously, like you said, the thicker you get, the heavier they get.
To get them put down,
so
yes.
somewhere in the middle range where it's not going to take an army to
lay
roll
it
them
down.
out, and
Yes, agreed. No, I would think, but like I said, I would think by November we'd have a much better presentation to provide for everybody at the committee of the whole meeting.
Have we abandoned the idea of a foundation? Is that something we're not looking at this point? Because we thought we had started it a long time ago. Is that moving at all?
We have not abandoned that, other than I'd say we tabled it till another business manager came with next steps involving that. But we do have legal information about next steps to take. But that is something we would be interested when Mr. Bavis gets started
And the
with
Beard
us.
Legal Group has that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so move on to item 15, public comment. Going once, going twice. That
So I had spoke with the Little League board. Everybody's on board. If we have to use one of the fields at the Echo location, I don't know who all. I spoke to some individuals, but they're all for it. It's not a strong arm thing or, hey, if you're not going to do it for us, we're not going to do it for you. The only thing that I got a request is if we could try to get some extra gym time, for late winter, spring, for baseball, softball use. So.
We always do. I talked to Mr. Albertson today, about this. He brought it forth to me. One thing I know he does is we do try to arrange any opening times. One thing, you know, he has set up a Google Calendar, which allows our internal coaches to see when times are open, but also for him that, you know, what gyms are open at what time, so that when you get the phone call, he can pretty easily give them, hey, you could get Tuesday at 6:30. Please the only thing to understand there is winter sports. It is gym
Gets
time
jammed.
is difficult to find. But
I agree.
we
Like I said,
absolutely will continue to do
they're-
our best.
They're understanding with
Yeah.
that. Like
Well-
I said, it was just something that wasn't, well, if you don't do it for us, we're not doing for you. You
It-
know, they understand that.
It obviously helps us. It helps the district in terms of athletics in the long run, and it's just great for the community. So.
We are certainly very appreciative of their, you know, kindness in extending that offer so that we for sure have a home for girls softball, and we will of course continue to try to partner with all youth sports in our facilities to the best of our ability.
So if nobody has anything else, everybody's favorite time of the night, have a safe trip home.